Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be reviewing the new Hisense 65-inch smart 4K TV. Now this TV's been sent to me by AO.com for the purpose of a review, and I'm going to be taking a look at it. So the exact model number is HE65k5510uwts. Bit of a mouthful. So let's go and have a look at the TV and what we've got. So as you can see, this is the massive box that it turned up in. Even when the AO delivery drivers turned up, they made a slight joke at us about how, got a small TV for you here mate, but they weren't wrong. This thing is absolutely humongous. Now in the box you get the remote and the guarantee, so you get a 2-year guarantee with it if you register the TV. You get the power cable and the stands and fixings with it as well. Here is the TV. Now as soon as we got this out of the box, we were just absolutely blown away by the size of it. 65-inch, but it fits nicely in this living room. You can just see the side and how thin it is. Which is even more amazing. Now with the TV, just before we turn it on, I'll just talk about a couple of the features. Now on this particular version you get 4 HDMI connections and 3 USB connections to connect all your devices up. The on-off switch is just to the right of the light. If you can make out the little light, but you stick your fingers underneath and adjust the switch at the back to switch it off. But once it's on, you don't really have to actually turn it on, just use the standby button, which is probably your easiest bet. Now it is wall mountable. You can get a 400 Visa mount, but just bear in mind when you do choose the Visa mount that it's actually 36 kilograms heavy. Just bear that in mind if you plan to put it on the wall. So here's the remote that you get with the television in the box. It's pretty standard, pretty basic, which is good really because it's not too confusing, you can pick it up. What I do like about it is you get straight access to the smart apps right at the bottom, so it's quite easy just to turn on the TV, tap Netflix, tap YouTube and go straight to what you want it to go to. The input button's at the top, so then change it to HDMI, and then obviously the standby button. So let's get this switched on and I'll show you a few of the features. So it takes a few seconds to boot up, which is fine. It sort of just loads everything up as it goes. Now what I've done is I have prepared a Blu-ray which I have already connected up and got to a particular scene just to see if you can see some of the quality. Now straight away out of the box I noticed that the 4K upscaling is pretty incredible. I did have a little bit of a mess around with the settings, just to change a little few bits with the contrast, but I'll play this Blu-ray which I have already set up of Third Transformers just because it is visually actually quite stunning. Right, so I'll just pause that. Now as you can see, I think it's actually capturing what I can see on the actual screen through the camera that I'm using to record this. The quality is absolutely incredible. The upscaling is just great. Now obviously Blu-ray at the moment isn't true 4K, but just having that 4K upscaling really shows sort of what it can look like when it gets to 4K. Now also, I don't know if you noticed from that as well, is the sound quality as well. Now when the sound's playing, I did have to mess around with a few settings just to get it how I sort of liked it. Now I do have an amp down here, which we use for the majority of our sound, but I just wanted to show you what the TV actually sounds like. Now if I go to the settings, which is the little cog wheel on the remote, you can then quickly adjust the audio. There we go. So in sound mode, what I've changed it to is I put it on theatre, which gives it sort of a subwoofer response, as it said. Now, what I found is when I first turned on the TV, I thought that the sound didn't sound very good, wasn't a very good quality, until I went to this setting and actually switched these Total Sonics and Total Surround to on, and then switched it to normal mode. Now, when the actual sound played, I don't know if you could hear it through the speaker, but it sounds a lot better. Now, an amp will always be better, but for a TV, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. What I'll do is I'll show you a few of the features that you can do. So clicking the home button on the TV. Now, I believe when you put this TV into standby, it does sort of remember where you were last. So when I turned that TV back off standby, it came back onto the Blu-ray, which is pretty cool. Now, if you want to then get back to anything else that you were perhaps doing, you just press the home button on the remote, and straight away it takes you to the premium apps that are on here. So you've got your standard ones like Netflix, BBC iPlayer, Amazon, YouTube. So they're pretty standard. It's pretty cool that it comes with it. It does support Netflix in 4K if you upgrade to the 4K subscription, which is very cool. And then you can just press down. It's got an app store. It's the Foxum app store. It's not a very known one, but when you go on there, you can play games, you can watch certain videos. It's got certain apps for TV programs. So for instance, there's a kids one called Pocoyo, which my son absolutely loves, so that was great for him. You can play games like chess and other things if you want to on your television, but there's just the option to do that. You can then go down to media. Now in media, if you've got a USB stick connected and you've got files on it, you can go into picture and video or music, and you can play stuff straight through it. Now this will load it up. One thing we did notice is as soon as you go onto this, it does actually then give you access to Dropbox, so you can log into your Dropbox account and actually stream stuff straight from there. If we go back down, it then recommends things, so from various channels and such. So you've got in the Waiki.tv, you've got Kung Fu Panda 3, which you can pre-order. Then the last option is the inputs. So I've got it on HDMI at the moment for the Blu-ray. And then you can switch it to TV. It does have Freeview HD, and it has a Freeview HD tuner, as long as you're connected with an aerial connection. And then the AnyView Cast is where you're on your phone and you load up the YouTube app, for instance, and as long as you're on the same Wi-Fi network, you can then play stuff straight from your phone and it will load it up on the television. Only with certain apps though, but that's something you can do. Now what I did, which is because I had a search for some YouTube videos just to test out the quality of the television and sort of how, you know, how is the 4K actually look. Now on YouTube there are quite a few now 4K videos. Now I did a recent search and I found some pretty cool ones. One thing that I did really like is this video. You can see from the quality. Now obviously you're not going to get the same sort of picture that I can see with my own eyes, and you're going to get the natural flickering for recording this through a camera, but you can see, let's turn it down a bit. I'm very, very, very impressed with the sound after changing those settings. But the quality of picture on this YouTube video that's in natural true 4K, it's just unbelievable. So there we go. Well, I'll just show you a couple of the settings that I spoke about earlier and how to sort of access them. Now I briefly went over the sound settings, but if you go down to all after pressing the cog on the remote, you then get all the settings. So with picture, as I said earlier, I adjusted some of the brightness and contrast. I changed a couple of the settings with that. You can change your picture mode and it sort of comes up cinema, cinema night, PC game, which is pretty cool. It's pretty standard with this stuff. The sound, as I said, I changed those certain settings. With the channel, you can sort of tune in and things like that when you've got your Freeview connection connected. And the network, when I first turned on the TV, I had to go to network and connect to the Wi-Fi. That was really, really easy to do. And then just the system stuff. So that's pretty standard. So that's the TV. So that was my short review of the new Hisense 65-inch 4K television. I wholeheartedly recommend this television. It is absolutely incredible for its worth, in a sense. You can go for a bigger brand, sort of your Sonys, your Samsungs and things like that, and the quality difference is just not there in my eyes. I've been around the shops, had a look at all the other ones, and the actual 4K for your money and the sound quality are just absolutely brilliant. The App Store could be a little bit better. The sound when I got it out of the box wasn't that great, but as soon as I changed those settings and actually switched on the total optics and the total surround, they just sound absolutely brilliant. Even though I would recommend using an amp and using a subwoofer in your own home, or a soundbar perhaps. Just to bear in mind as well that, as I said before, you do get a 2-year warranty with it. AO offer 14 days return, which is pretty cool as well. They take your old television away, and when it was delivered, the delivery drivers were absolutely great and very accommodating, very friendly, very helpful, brought it into exactly where I needed it. It was very easy for us to get out of the box, put the legs on, and then actually stand it up against the standing up on the stand. So that was really cool. So hopefully you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you around.